How's it going, Diablo fans? So today I want to show you my draft for the Lash Conjuration build I'm going to experimenting with in Season 3. And well, basically I just tested this like really just today, so I didn't use like any old footage or whatever. So I just tested this in seasonal. I wasn't using any vampiric powers, but Moonrise just to like simulate some extra basic skill damage. But besides that, I wasn't using any seasonal stuff. I wasn't using Tears of Blood, and I was able to like choose through like high dungeons like super easily. In the footage, I don't really have like tier 100s. I think it's like tier 95 to like tier 98 or something like that. I simply don't have the sigil powder to craft sigils in this case anymore, but I think it's going to be pretty accurate of a demonstration anyway. Also in the footage, I'm using Firebolt enchantment. I assume we're gonna have free burning from our construct when it comes to the season, but I had to use this because otherwise I wouldn't have enough synergy. If you look at the dummy footage right now, so at the dummies we actually play without burning in this case, so just imagine we would have additional burning here. And then I switched to the Frozen Orb enchantment, and as you can see, we can pretty much sustain like 15 to 20 conjurations active at a time. We can sustain unstable currents pretty much permanently, and we have a really high uptime on our defensive layer, so we really are spamming our skills pretty much all the time, which is going to give us fresh barriers from the protection passive all the time, and it just like seems to work like very great together. Again, we don't know yet how it will play out in the season. This is just a draft, but I assume this is going to be like a very viable build. We are going to have the new buffs for basic skills, which are coming with the season, which is going to be the aspect of adaptability. It is stated that it gives 40 to 80% increased damage. We don't know if this is additive or multiplicative. Well, if it's additive, you know, we probably don't care about this one at all, but I really hope that it is going to be multiplicative. And furthermore, we are also using the Paingorger Gauntlets here. This is going to be the new unique item, which can be used by all classes. And this is going to give us 100 to 200% increased basic skill damage after dealing damage with a non-basic skill. Well, it says actually with a cast non-basic skill, so at this point we don't really know if conjurations will count as cast non-basic skills or not. This might just mean that it's like, you know, core and mastery skills, but actually I think it should say direct damage then, but it doesn't say direct damage, it says non-basic skills which are cast. So I assume this is going to work with conjurations as well. And what it does is it basically, you know, marks all enemies. So let's say you launch a lightning spear, like a lightning spear pretty much hits every single mob instantly. So the lightning spear will then mark every single mob with the mark, and then as soon as you hit one with a basic skill, it gives you like a 100 to 200% increased damage, and it will then hit every marked enemy. So my assumption and my hope here is that we're going to cast Lightning Spear. A Lightning Spear is then pretty much gonna mark every single enemy on screen, and then we just gotta Arc Lash one of those, and every of the other ones will take a 200% increased damage Arc Lash swipe. Also, obviously, I really hope that, you know, the Lightning Spear keeps doing damage, our Ice Blades are going to be doing damage, our Flame Shield is going to be doing damage, so my hope here are that the uptime of the marks can be really high while using conjurations. Again, this is an assumption, we have to try it out when it comes out. Besides that, this build actually plays pretty simple. You just pop unstable currents and then spam all your other buttons. So really, that's what you do. You spam Teleport, you spam Flame Shield, you spam Ice Blades, and you're gonna spam Lightning Spear. So really nothing else to do. You spam those buttons, you're gonna spawn a lot of conjurations, they're gonna synergize with the Conjuration Mastery, and you're gonna get an like insane amount of damage boost through Conjuration Mastery. And also every time you cast one of those skills, you're gonna get a fresh barrier from the protection passive, and you're also gonna do a lot of Frozen Orbs from the Frozen Orb enchantment, and that is pretty much the playstyle. If you're interested in some more details on the playstyle, you can check my Arc Lash Abattoir of Zir guide. I think I cleared like a tier 16 with my, I believe it was like level 17 Tears of Bloodglyph or something like that. So I'm gonna link that one in the description down below. You can definitely check it out. It is focused on making more lightning damage, but you know, it doesn't really matter. Like the concept still remains the same. So that's it for the short introduction of this guide, and you can check all the sections of this guide as well as the planner in the description down below. below. And next we are going to go with the skill tree, but before that I have a very quick announcement to make here. Just want to make a quick announcement, so you can go to goldfarming.guide/builds and you will find all my previous build guides. All build planners have been updated to Season 3 already. You can find the link in the list here where it says Season 3 Planner. So all guides have been updated. You can filter here, and it has a tag which says Video Season 3, which actually means that this is a real Season 3 build with the video made in Season 3, and all the other builds have their old videos, but all planners are updated. So you can go here at the top and just filter, you want to see fire builds or lightning builds or whatever, you want to see like Arklash builds, and you will be able to see all my builds. Again, it's linked in the description down below, so definitely check that out. Again, that's goldfarming.guide/builds. Alright, let's go through the skill tree. So there's still the assumption that Arklash is going to do the damage because we're going to have the new aspect and the new unique gloves, which is going to significantly boost our Arklash damage. And also we think that the damage will be kind of a pseudo area of effect. We don't know yet, like we have to try. But for now, we're just going to assume Arklash is going to do damage, and that's why we have like 5 points into it. If Arklash is not doing damage, we can use this build as an applicator, and then we just put 1 point into this Arklash here, right? So we're going to put 5 points, then 1 into Enhanced Arklash and 1 into Glinting Arklash. This is going to help us a lot with our cooldown reduction to get our Conjuration Mastery up and running. And then we put Frozen Orb, Enhanced Frozen Orb, and Greater Frozen Orb. Frozen Orb is going to be our enchantment. This is an optional enchantment slot. You can pretty much play other enchantments. We will see how it works out. Maybe we will play Meteor Enchantment, or maybe even Ball Lightning Enchantment. There's still a lot of options we can go from here. From now, we just start with Frozen Orb. Then right now, I'm maxing out Flame Shield because my assumption here is if we get another +3 on Amulet and maybe even +3 on Boots, and maybe even we later get Shaco, then we might have like an extremely high uptime on Flame Shield, and this is going to be pretty much our primary defensive layer in this build because we haven't really figured out damage reduction with the construct and everything. So at this point, I don't know really how to build damage reduction. That's why I'm going like 5 points into Flame Shield at this point. Keep in mind, in this build, we have the option to go low life. So if we can play low life, our defenses are not going to be an issue, and we would probably just put 1 point into Flame Shield and distribute the other points somewhere else. Then we put 1 point into Enhanced Flame Shield for the movement speed bonus because we use Asus Boot, so we get a little bit more crit here. Then we put 1 point into Teleport, 1 into Enhanced Teleport, and 1 into Mystical Teleport. This helps us with overflowing energy. We max out Glass Cannon, and we put 1 point into Elemental Attunement. We don't choose any other defensive skills here. Then we put Ice Blades with Enhanced Ice Blades and Summoned Ice Blades. This is pretty much the cause of our cooldown reduction in this build. Then we take Lightning Spear with Enhanced Lightning Spear and Invoke Lightning Spear for the stun. We don't know at this point if this is really going to be necessary. Maybe we just need like the regular Lightning Spear here, so we can save 3 points. Basically 2 points. We will also see how it plays out. Then we use Align the Elements and Protection. We're not going to use Mana Shield because we're not going to use mana. And then we put 3 into Conjuration Mastery. And in this build, you want to have another +3 on your Amulet. Because, well, it is simply the strongest one we can get here. It gives a lot of multiplicative damage. And if you have Devouring Blaze is alright as well, but Conjuration Mastery is our primary goal here on our Amulet. Then, speaking of Devouring Blaze, we put 3 points into Devouring Blaze. We're gonna have Burning Synergy. I know we don't have the Firebolt enchantment here, but we're going to have the Companion, which is going to apply Burning. So just keep in mind we get free Burning Synergy, basically. That's why we do not play Firebolt enchantment here. We play Frozen Orb enchantment. In the footage, I play Firebolt enchantment because I just need the Burning layer, but in Season 3, we will have this from our construct, right? So I will show at the dummies, I already showed at the dummies how it would look without the Burning and with the Frozen Orb. And then we put just 3 into Static Discharge. Right now, this is just for like a little bit of Crackling Energy generation. In reality, we would probably not use this because we could use Wizard's Ball Lightning. Because right now I cannot use Ball Lightning because I would have to spec into Enhanced Ball Lightning, and this would just do like crazy amounts of Ball Lightning damage because it's still bugged. That's why I'm not using it. So we will probably go for Wizard's Ball Lightning here for Crackling Energy generation in the final build version. Then we put 1 point into Permafrost and 3 into Hoarfrost. Hoarfrost because we use Frozen Orb enchantment, so this is another free multiplier basically. Then we go Unstable Currents into Prime Unstable Currents and Supreme Unstable Currents. This helps us with overflowing energy. Then 1 point into Coursing Currents, 3 into Electrocution for additional damage reduction, and 3 into Conduction for more movement speed and also more critical strike chance with Asus Boots. And then last but not least, our key passive is going to be Overflowing Energy. This helps us to get a lot of extra cooldown reduction on our Lightning Spare and on our Teleport, and also Unstable Currents obviously to keep the chain reaction going. If we will find out that we do not need overflowing energy for reasons in the next season, again, we don't know yet, we will switch to Asus Ferocity with the aspect of Ancient Flame. For the skills, we use Unstable Currents. We have a very low cooldown, and our goal is here to have pretty much, as much Unstable Currents uptime as possible. On stronger mobs, we have permanent Unstable Currents uptime. The same goes for bosses. Right now, I don't really have like something to test this against, so the mobs die way too fast, so I kind of not have like permanent Unstable Currents. But the aim of this build is more like, high-level content where the mobs actually have HP, and I cannot really simulate that at this point because I don't have the sigil power and anything. But, in general, this is a perma Unstable Currents build. Then we use Ice Blades together with Ice Blades enchantment. We just want to get as many conjurations as possible. These are going to apply vulnerable. These are going to reduce all of our cooldowns. And these are also going to basically use the enchantment to give like us this whole kind of chain reaction, And then we use Teleport. This is a very low cooldown lightning skill. We can pretty much spam together with Raiment of the Infinite to keep the pulling and stunning going. We use Flame Shield as one of our primary defensive layers, as we already talked about. Then we use Arc Lash as our primary attack skill here. We have a very high attack speed on Arc Lash because we're taking advantage of the basic skill attack speed we can get on our gear. And then last but not least, we have Lightning Spare. This is another conjuration layer, so it gives more damage. It is a lightning spell, so it is going to be affected by overflowing energy. So this overall helps a lot with the Ice Blade enchantment. If you're struggling with survivability, you can ditch the Lightning Spare and get yourself some Frost Armor here. That works as well. You're just going to have like a little bit less conjuration uptime. And then for enchantments, right now we use Ice Blades enchantment and Frozen Orb enchantment. There's an option we will change Frozen Orb enchantment, for example, to Meteor enchantment, if it turns out that the new helmet is going to be awesome with it. We don't know yet. There's still, lots of stuff we can play around with. For now, I'm going with Frozen Orb enchantment. Because I just feel like we're spamming so many skills that we actually get like a lot of casts out of Frozen Orb enchantment here, and it also applies Chilled and Frozen, so we can use our free Hoarfrost synergies here. So let's go over the Paragon board. This is also like not final at all. We have a lot of conjuration stuff in here which might not be needed. We have to test how the conjuration damage works. Right now I have it in, but there's a good chance we just take it out. We take the extra conjuration damage out of this board. And we might also take the conjuration master out of this board. We cannot really say at this point. I'm just drafting this right now. This is the build I tested. And it feels pretty good. The conjurations don't do major damage, but there's going to be slight buffs to conjurations. But we mainly are not running the conjurations here for the damage they do themselves. We mainly run them for more utility aspects, right? So on the first board, we take our Elementalist glyph to give us more non-physical damage and also like give us the 10%, the 15% X. Then we move over to the next board. That is going to be the Enchantment Master, and we use the Enchantment Master node. It is really, really strong if you play Ice. If you play Ice Blades Enchant, you can play it without, but I just feel like it feels way much better with Enchantment Master. Unfortunately, it's a huge investment. It costs like I think like 15 or 16 nodes to get Enchantment Master, so definitely not a must, but for now I'm playing it because it feels really good with the Ice Blades enchantment. Then we're picking up all these non-fizz damage nodes here. You probably don't need these, but if we're going for Enchantment Master anyway, you might as well pick them up to boost your conjuration damage a little bit more. Please ignore the glyph in here, so we're gonna put the Tactician glyph and you will see the correct Paragon board in the planner down below. Just when I recorded this video, I was thinking that Tactician was bugged, but today I made a whole test. I recorded like a completely baseline damage test on Tactician, and I can definitely guarantee you that Tactician is working fine and Tactician is not bugged. So if anybody is telling you Tactician is bugged, just screw it, it is not bugged, and I will probably upload the proof video very soon for that. So just take Tactician as mentioned in the planner here. Fine. Then the next board is going to be the Elemental Summoner. Again, we pick up the non-physical damage to synergize with the Elemental Summoner node. Again, this is only 26% X, so next season this is probably going to be like 50% X. So this is not extremely strong, so this might not be worth it at all, but it gives 10% reduced cooldown on conjurations. So we have 2 conjurations on our bar. It gives us a little bit more cooldown reduction, but I don't know if this is worth it at all. So it might just not be worth it, and we might be able to ditch this board completely. We don't know at this point, but most likely this board is not going to be worth it next season, unless like the conjuration damage really gets pushed over the edge by this node. But I think this board is going to be replaced. And we put the charge glyph in here just with 40 intelligence. We just use this for the 15% bonus damage. All right, and then the next board is going to be the Burning Instinct board. We're going to get our Burning Synergy in here. We get our defenses in here. And we're going to put in the Destruction glyphs here. Then moving over to the next board is going to be the Sorceress Conjuration board. We just picked this for the glyph. We put in the Conjurer glyph. Conjurer glyph is definitely required here. We don't really care about the conjuration skill damage, as I already said. We just want the 20% increased duration, and this is really required if you play any kind of conjuration mastery focused build here. We take the lightning damage here. Again, doesn't really matter. You could reach the dexterity threshold here, definitely, but you know, it's not so important at this point. And then, last but not least, we're going for the Frigid Fate board. We're going to take the Frigid Fate node for a 30% damage increase. We're going to take the damage reduction node here, and we're going to put in our Flame Feeder glyph for another 10% increased damage and some additives damage here. All right, let's go through the legendary aspects, unique items, and stat priorities. Again, this is still like theoretical, so we don't really have the in-game build yet because I don't really have the proper gear and everything, so I'm gonna just show everything to you on the planner. So we are going to do the following aspects. On our helmet, we're going to play the aspect of Adaptability. This is going to be the new aspect, which is hopefully going to give us 40 to 80% X increased damage. If this is going to be not multiplicative but additive, you know, throw this aspect away. We're just going to play something different, right? But for now, my assumption is that this will be multiplicative. Then we're going to play Raiment of the Infinite for pixel pulling. If the construct pulls, so the construct has an ability which can pull every 10 seconds. If that is sufficient already, so we don't, then we will not need Raiment of the Infinite, so we can definitely play a defensive chess piece then. Then we're going to use the new gloves most likely. We don't know the stats on them yet, but I assume the stats are going to be all right. But again, this is going to give us 100 to 200% multiplicative damage on our Arc Lash, and it's also going to, you know, do like a pseudo AoE effect, right? So, well, it kind of gives you an AoE, but not really an AoE, so, you know, whatever you want to call it, right? So it's probably going to be a great item. Then we're going to play Disobedience on our pants, and you can definitely do this on your amulet if you need to, but I don't think it's going to be needed. We play Asus Boots. We play Conceited Aspect on one of our weapons for just some additional damage. Then we play Stormswell Aspect as our second damage aspect on one of our rings. You can definitely go for X-Falls here, but I assume it's going to be more likely that we're going to play another aspect ring here. And we're going to play the Rapid Aspect on our offhand, or whatever item you want, actually. This is going to give us 30% extra basic skill attack speed, and this is going to be very great for our build at all. And then, last but not least, we play the Tarasha's Iridescent Loop. This is the best ring for sorcerers. We don't really need to talk about it. So this is about the unique items and legendary aspects. Let's go through the stat priorities here real quick. So on our helmet, we want to have basic skill attack speed, cooldown reduction, max life, total armor. So basic skill attack speed, very important. If you want to play a different helmet, it's not the end of the world to miss out these 15%, but they are definitely great in this build. And then on our pants, we're going for total armor, max life, damage reduction from burning, and the force stat. So the force stat can be plain damage reduction, but most likely it might be Meteor if we play Meteor enchantment. It might be Ball Lightning if we play Ball Lightning enchantment, but most likely it's just going to be damage reduction here for now. On our weapon, standard stuff, intelligence, all stats, vulnerable damage, damage to burning. On our offhand, cooldown reduction, damage reduction from burning, critical strike chance, and basic skill attack speed. This is, you can definitely go without the damage reduction from burning, but I would highly recommend it because we are not super defensive in this build. Then on our ring, we get maximum life, crit chance, crit damage, barrier generation. We don't really need lucky hit in this build. This might change if we're going for Meteor enchantment, but for now, we're just gonna take the critical strike damage for now. And then last but not least, again, on our amulet, we want to have cooldown reduction, ranks of Devouring Blaze, total armor, and the last one is, it's optional. I like having defensive skills because I want to try to have a high Flame Shield rank in this build for now. If it's not going to be necessary to have this defensive layer, you can definitely switch this for example, percent intelligence, which is a nice damage multiplier here. Other stats are not really needed unless we're gonna play low life. So we definitely also have an option to play this build low life, and then we would just get damage reduction from low life on our amulet. So this is also still pretty much open. For seasonal powers, well, again, we don't know how these work yet, right? But we are going to use Focus Fire. We assume Focus Fire is just going to be like one of the major skills. We haven't really seen anything, but this looked to me like it can make a lot of mobs burning. And we're going to put the burning support because I don't think it does burning by itself. I guess you got to put the burning support into it. And then we have the arcing support, so it hits 10 additional enemies. And I guess we have the gripping support here. So again, we don't know how this is going to be working at all. But, we assume we're just going to play like gripping somewhere that we don't have to play Raiment. We will see how this actually works out. And for a second one, I assume we're going to use Tempest. This just sounds good from the effect. So, electrically charge an enemy when it deals damage to themselves and additional over time. If enemy is killed, spreads to another enemy, going for additional time. Well, it just sounds like an interesting skill. Well, we don't know if it's good yet, right? So I put poison and dust support here. So this is poison damage and shadow damage because this might work with Tarasha Ring. If this doesn't work with Tarasha Ring, we're going to think about this at a different state. If it works with Tarasha Ring, this is going to be like 30% damage increase, basically. But, we don't know at this point. And then we have duration support here, because maybe it's good with Tempest. Who knows? We're going to figure all this stuff out later.